God help me, Nate Tice. I kind of just unironically like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I do too.
Not any, and we talk about this sometimes, like Mike Tomlin, what's he doing? Like black magic, whatever's going on with him. I just think this is a good football team. Like kind of period, end of story. I know they don't have the quarterback situation. They don't have necessarily the most modern, interesting pass game and all that stuff. But, it occurred to me watching Monday Night Football last night against a just absolutely, like, I don't need to see the Giants on primetime again. I'm sure they're on the primetime schedule again very soon. I'd like it to. I don't know who wants the Giants on primetime less, me or Brian Daboll. Like, that's a guy that does not want to be there anymore. And you can't convince me otherwise. But put the Giants aside. When late in this game, they are punting on their own side of the field or in enemy territory. The Steelers are punting across the 50-yard line in a situation where I'm sure most analytic models probably want you to go for that in a short, fourth and short type situation. It dawns on me there, like, you know what? Yeah, the idea would be trust your offense, like have faith in your offense, go for this. It's 4th and 2 or whatever late in the game, put the game away. I'm like, nah, not when you're Pittsburgh, man. If you're going to have faith in anything, have faith in your defense to go call game against Daniel Jones with Jermaine Illuminor and single, blocking situations on TJ Watt. And you know what happened? That and that's just a good football team that I think understands what it is. I also really like look, I've enjoyed Russell Wilson as the starting quarterback here.
I have too.
His 2 deep shots, the 143-yarder to George Pickens, in the previous game against the Jets, it was a lot of like underthrown balls that Pickens made a play on or they got pass interference on. Man, that 43-yarder George Pickens, Russ couldn't have walked it down and handed it to him any better. The back shoulder sideline to Van Jefferson of all people, that was a great throw. The
Calvin Austin touchdown.
The Calvin Austin touchdown.
Dinks it right over. Oh, it's beautiful.
And the run game, we talked about this with Najee Harris on the Fantasy Film Room and saying the quiet part out loud that he's looked good. Over the last 3 weeks, 14.3 explosive rushing rate for Najee Harris. Only Sean Tucker ranks higher among backs with 20-plus rushes.
That's exactly who I would have guessed.
Yeah, right. You don't normally expect like, explosive rushes, Najee Harris, but that's what we're getting. And I know that you and I are Arthur Smith appreciators, but I do think that Smith, a guy that everyone thinks is too stubborn and he only does things his way. In the first half of the season, weeks 1 through 5, they're really running a lot of these like typical Arthur Smith zone runs. 70.7% of Najee Harris's carries were out of zone rushing concepts. That's dropped down to 51.4% in weeks 6 to 8. And he has a 5.4 yards per carry on gap scheme runs. I think this was, hey, we don't have a back like Derrick Henry in Tennessee or Bijan Robinson or even Tyler Algier, like these explosive downhill, like explosive outside zone runners. We have Najee Harris, like get him in man gap and let him plow down the field. And I think we talked about, he's running extremely well. Good job by an offensive coordinator who's often under fire, understanding what type of players he has and how we can execute with those guys.
As much of play calling is about, highlighting strengths, it's also mitigating weaknesses. And it's just, he's one of the best at it, him being Arthur Smith. Like, this is Requiem for Arthur. Like, it really, like, this is, he hasn't died, so I shouldn't say that. But it's no, but I'm with you. I've enjoyed watching the offense more than I'm like, oh, that's a cool play. And then it's like 3 plays of bad or 5 plays of bad. And really, the Russell Wilson argument, when we kind of talked about the switch over, is that, okay, I wanted to bet on the younger guy that might be bigger and faster because they have the same weaknesses. Russell can run the offense, like as far as, and what I mean by saying that, it's not just throwing the ball, it's just getting the play out on time, not having an operation issue, getting the snap. And that's been a thing with Fields. It's been a thing throughout his professional career now. It's sometimes, I think, goes too fast where he's just like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. And he always wants to be perfect. I could tell Justin always wants to be perfect. Russell just has reps. He has snaps. That in an offense that kind of needs more of a caretaker, and that's what Russell Wilson is in his career, that works for this. It's complementary football. Again, it's not going to be the sexiest thing. There's going to be some run game things that are cool, but I had one big whoa with this offense was, are they going to attack over the middle? Because actually, when you have balls like that, when you can throw the deep ball like that, you're still attacking downfield, even if it's not exactly what we've seen from a Smith offense before. Again, mitigate the weaknesses and highlight what they're good at. That's a good play calling. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. kind of digging the Steelers offense. When he threw that first touchdown to Calvin Austin, I was like, ooh, that looked familiar. I know those layered throws, dropping it right in. Those are his best throws. And you got clean pockets with heavy play action. Russ can do that. Russ can still spin it if he has some confidence what's being called. So yeah, I'm and just avoiding any empty plays with him. Just don't listen to him.
Exactly.
Don't listen to him. He wants to do it, but Arthur's like, nah, I formation. Nah,
he needed a hard-headed coach like that. Like Arthur Smith's like, thanks for the input, but we're still going to do what I want to do.
Because
it is the right
call.
answer.
It's a Ringo Starr that wrote a song. We're going to put it right on the fridge, Ringo. That's
cool.
right there, right next to that. No, I'm glad you brought it up because it was kind of like, do I have to talk about the Steelers and Arthur Smith? No, you do.
No, I got you on that.